What I will be saying in this video is not new. It is information which has been available to the public for almost 15 years now, but it is shocking. So shocking, in fact, that the shock itself explains why people have chosen not to hear it repeated. We want to push it out of our consciousness. It's too degrading to even contemplate. But doing so would, in my estimation, be adding irresponsibility to something that is already a sickening reality, and which needs to be labeled as such. What makes this information most shocking is just that it reveals the extent of the Western world's corporate and almost universal moral depravity. In my end-time novel, Survivors, I tried to imagine just how depraved the world could become under the rule of the prophesied Antichrist. And I could not think of anything more depraved than making murder into entertainment, with the mass media supporting it as evidence of sophistication and progressive thinking. Yet that is exactly what has been going on now in dozens of Western countries for more than a decade. An organization called Premier Exhibitions Incorporated put on its first show in Tampa, Florida in 2005 as a form of entertainment exhibition. A number of similar exhibitions were later produced by this same organization. However, the first one, called simply Bodies, has already appeared in over 80 cities around the world, including London, Montreal, Vienna, Houston, Tel Aviv, Warsaw, Brisbane, Zagreb, San Salvador, Romania, Prague, Istanbul, Dublin, Santiago de Chile, Buenos Aires, Krakow, Budapest, Amsterdam, Puerto Rico, Brussels, Belgrade, New York City, Bogota, Jaffa, Athens, Los Angeles, Barcelona, Lisbon, Bucharest, Tegucigalpa, and Sofia, to name a few. Bodies is an exhibition of just what the title implies. Dead bodies of real people. Most of them cut into pieces and then treated with a process called plastination, which stops them from decomposing. These are real human beings who were executed as prisoners in China, where there are believed to be more than 1 million Muslim prisoners alone at the moment, and they are being held in concentration camps just because of their religious beliefs. Many more members of the Falun Gong peaceful meditation sect have been imprisoned since the turn of the century, with literally hundreds of thousands of them having been executed. And now Christians from outlawed home churches are also being rounded up to become fodder for Chinese fun and games. Like so many deluded Frankensteins, medical personnel in China are leading the world in research which could only be carried out by ruthlessly and systematically killing people. Not just for exhibitions such as this, but for the purpose of harvesting their organs to be sold to the highest bidders from around the world. But the picture of deluded scientists is not restricted to China. A similar report in The Guardian in February 2019 disclosed that more than 400 papers dealing with Chinese organ transplants had been unethically published in English-language medical journals over a 17-year period from the year 2000 to 2017. The journals accepted the papers despite international ethical regulations against using research material that was obtained through forced removal of organs. All of the papers obtained data obtained in conjunction with the forced removal of organs from prisoners in China. And in some cases, the papers even appeared in journals which claimed to have standards against using such grisly material. But back to the Premier Exhibitions Incorporated. Some of the bodies in the Bodies exhibition are posed so that they are performing activities such as playing poker or conducting an orchestra. One section of the exhibit includes fetuses at various stages of development, all of them having died as the result of miscarriages. As a result of protests from various members of the public, Premier Exhibitions added a disclaimer at the top of their website in 2008, about the presumed origin of the bodies and the fetuses, stating that it relies solely on the representations of its Chinese partners and cannot independently verify that the bodies do not belong to executed prisoners. An education coordinator for the Carnegie Museum of Science in Pittsburgh resigned her position over the exhibition, citing her religious beliefs and the general repugnance for putting human remains on exhibit. Thomas Hibbs, a Baylor University ethicist, compared the exhibition to pornography, and the Jewish rabbi, Danny Schiff, asked what such a form of entertainment says about modern society. A district major in Prague asked that the show be banned and the bodies be respectfully buried, but police refused to act on his request. All of this needs to be given more prominence in the media rather than less, as China becomes more and more deeply involved in the politics, economics, and even religion of the rest of the world. While we continue to support such repugnant disregard for human rights in the name of entertainment, or even in the name of education, we lower ourselves to the lowest of the low. Surely, despite this being the most affluent time in the history of the world, it has also become the most evil and degrading period in the history of the human race. No amount of dressing up can cover the moral bankruptcy of such a profligate society. Please, let us take a stand ourselves and do what we can to instruct our children and any others who will listen to resist to our death the direction in which all of this is leading us. Thank you for listening.